Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
This episode of Still Got Game is brought to you by ThinkGeek and the Craft Beer Club. Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game episode 326. Still Got Game is the official podcast of ToolToPlay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
And joining us later from the news desk will be Tiffany Electrify Nolan. And what's going on, Jay? We're back for another show.
Not much. Ready to rock and roll? Let's do this thing.
It's our last show of 2015 right here.
That's correct. It really is.
We'll be coming back in the new year, and with our New Year's resolution is to be even more awesome.
Well, that's not a resolution. That's just going to happen.
I know. We just get better with time. We're like
just make it easy on us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we picked a resolution that's a gimme.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you, right? All right. Well, we'll just jump right into feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Micha comments. I just wanted to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for the free entertainment.
Aw. That's sweet.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too, Micha. Or Mika.
Or happy holidays for whatever religion it is that you do or do not.
Yeah, well, to everybody else. But I feel like since Micha said Merry Christmas, they're probably a Christmas celebrator, but maybe not. Maybe they know we are because we mentioned Christmas. I don't know. I am. It's a conundrum with the holiday thing. So
I know, right?
Yes.
You
don't know
can't
what
do
to
it
say.
anymore.
You don't know
Not
what to
allowed
say.
to.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stick with Kwanzaa, then you know you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's like, they're open-minded.
Exactly.
Yes.
Look at how progressive they are. It's amazing.
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I built you out of clay. Yes. So we work all the angles here just in case. We aim to offend no one. Or no, what am I saying? We aim to offend everyone. That's right. So, yes. So Merry Christmas to you all. All right, and thank you, Micha. Talk comments. That comment last week that your shows keep getting better was on the money. The recent ones have been some of my favorites.
Really? I mean, of course they have been.
Yeah, we just talked about how we get better and better, so there would be no reason why the most recent show shouldn't be your very favorite.
Should always be better.
Although
Tiff is pointing at herself now, and I think that's the belief is that it's her that makes it.
That's interesting thought. It could be. I would actually say, though, maybe our most recent shows are not the best. I would still like to say that our Marathon E3 shows are our best ever. Like
those are either the best or the worst. I actually can't tell you which one it is.
When we're into hour 3, people are hurting. Like
I can't imagine anyone else listening is enjoying it at that point. They're just like, when will it be over?
But the fact that they stick around goes to show that there's a fan base there. And our fan base cannot be tainted. Well, I say it cannot be tainted, but we'll get back to that at the end of the show. So, yeah, we'll certainly get back to that. And Raw Stuff comments. New to your audience, but I'm already a fan in the making. Entertaining while being informative. That is, I believe that's the way we actually describe the show in the iTunes.
I was going to say, is that like a copy paste?
Yeah,
that's our goal, right?
We say we're entertaining and informative. Yes. So maybe that comes from the show description, or maybe you genuinely felt that yourself. But that is literally what we strive for each week.
That is the goal.
We strive to entertain while yet giving you some information. Because it's one thing, we could just get on and do a vidcast about anything. We could talk about movies or TV shows or just life in general.
Which is really what the pre-show is when we're not live. That's what that is.
Yeah, and the post-show ends up being the same thing sometimes. But if that's a show you want and you need another show a week, let us know. We'll see what we can do. But
no.
But yeah, for the most part, this show itself aims to be informative, which is why we follow kind of a rigid outline of how we go through the show each week. We don't just shoot off the cuff because we make sure that we give you all the, some of this, some of this, some of this, some of this, and we're out of here. So you get enough information, but while we're giving that to you, we aim to entertain. And hopefully that's what we do each week. And Raw Stuff, thank you for, or Raw Staff. Sorry. I said Raw Stuff, but Raw Staff is your actual name, and that's way grosser.
Yeah, Raw Staff is pretty vulgar. Well done.
Yeah, that's hardcore. I never would have expected that to be an actual name. But yes, Raw Staff. I don't know. Wow. now I'm turning red because that's fucking crazy. And yes. So yes, thank you for your penetration to the comments, Ross.
There you go.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, I fixed that. All right. Well, if any of you have awesome comments like Micha, Talk, or Raw Staff, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site related news, it's the end of the year. Everybody's busy, and I got nothing. Jay, I assume you got nothing?
Got nothing.
Boom. Then we're done that. Awesome. Then we'll just jump right over what we're playing. Joel, Dude, I Rock Albert, what have you been playing this week?
I've been sprinkling my gaming. So I've had some Halo. I've had some Destiny challenge modes, and I've done some Just Cause. So I'm kind of all over the place now.
Nice. It's almost
Just
like
good.
you're a real gamer again.
I know,
like,
it's
in one
weird.
Game. Yes.
It's just a lot shorter of a period of time. You know, like I'll do like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, or if I'm playing with Hitman challenge modes, 2 hours of the worst gaming that you've ever seen in your entire life.
Usually that goes with just having Hitman in your group. But
dude, Hitman's pro.
No, I know. I shit on him, but yeah, Hitman is. We would love to have Hitman in our group. Actually,
I rely on him to kill ogres, and he does it.
I know he spent a lot of time in this game, and it shows.
It does. It does.
Yes. So anytime you get sick of having Hitman carry you, we'll have Hitman carry us.
First, Hitman has to carry himself, but then after that, yes, you can have him.
Now, Hitman, our group would not shit on you like this at all. You would be put on a pedestal like a god in our group.
Our group is literally just 6 people shitting on each other for 2 hours or more. That's really all it is. So
I feel like our group is me shitting on everyone, whether they deserve it or not.
Oh, that's even better.
It's
Probably
that. You can ask Selden how that goes, but yes, yeah, he takes some abuse, and maybe he doesn't deserve it. Sometimes he does. Maybe most time he does, but sometimes he does not, and those times I apologize for. Right here, live on the air, Selden.
Wow, yeah. I don't think that anyone else could ever get that treatment, so you should feel honored, Selden.
Yes, most definitely.
An on-the-air apology, huh?
Yep. But yeah, all I've been doing is playing Destiny. We've been trying the challenge mode stuff, and just finished up the like if Destiny is here at the core. Now we're out in the fringes, just banging out those little last few extra things, extra exotics that you can get from this, or getting your last couple calcified fragments and all that kind of stuff. So
now, did you see the comment last week from Shadow, where he said he's concerned for you, and the comment was basically that you run a gaming podcast.
Yep.
We have a gaming website. You play one game. You're not a gamer. You can't comment on any other games anymore because you're too locked into one game. You're not a real gamer. Therefore, your opinion is null.
Okay. See, this happened to me one other time in the history of the show, and it was when I was addicted to a little game called World of Warcraft. And I still was able to talk accurately about other games. And when games do come out, I try demos. I buy games. I try them.
Right, but owning them and not playing them is not the same. We get that, right?
I know. Yeah, that is the same.
I think his comment was more directed to the fact that you haven't, and this I actually agree with, and I thought I would be this person, and ironically it's you, which is that we started on Halo and you haven't really even delved into Halo yet.
I know, and
it's a good version of Halo.
This is something that if someone had ever told me that there would be a Halo game out and that I would buy it prior to launch day, and that it would be sitting on my console for more than a month and I would not have played it, I would have said that person is fucking insane.
Which is ironic because I said I'm not going to buy this Halo. There's no chance I'm going to play this Halo, and I play it every week.
Exactly. So my goal, tell you what, because we are going to be gone next week visiting Tiff's family for the Christmas holiday. We're going to have the games case with us with an Xbox in it. I'm obviously not going to be able to put some quality time into Destiny while I'm gone. So maybe that will be my time to just do some mindless Halo and get that into my system. And who knows, maybe once I crack the seal, maybe I'm just going to be like, oh, sweet Halo. I need to fucking
It happened to me.
You caressed it and made out with it?
Like I did, dude.
Oh, yeah, nice. That's very possible. It could very well happen, but it is something I need to play. And I keep saying every weekend, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll play some Halo. But then they came out this fucking Spartan Racing League, or the Sparrow Racing League, and I'm all over that shit now.
Oh, it's so terrible. See, how is that a fun thing to do? Go play Mario Kart, bro.
Because the thing that SRL does is granted, it's different if you just go in with 5 randoms. But when you go in with a fire team of all of your friends, and it's all of you fucking over each other, just trying to get first place in a race with sparrows, that is so the end result really doesn't matter unless you're trying to fill out the book, because everybody's getting mad 320 loots all over the place. Like, oh, 320 helm for you, 320 class item for you, boom, boom, boom. They're just dropping like nobody's business. But, you know, it's just fun to be able to actually socialize with your friends and shit on people and be like, oh, I fucking owned you there. Oh, I took you out, bitch. Like, it's that kind of thing without the stress of a game over and above it, because it's mindless. It's racing. There's nothing dumber than racing.
But then the problem with it too that I had, I've only did it once. I said I was not going to do it at all, but I was like, I got to see, because Hitman was like rank 5, and I'm like, it's got to be semi good. But then I forgot that Hitman has the worst judgment in video games of anyone I've ever met. I forgot that part, and then I played it. I'm like, this is the fucking dumbest shit I have ever, like, this is, and I love Destiny. I love it, but I love the rating part, I should say. It's awful. Like, it is like, I mean, there is maybe a little bit of skill involved, I guess, kind of maybe, but there's so much randomness within the event that, like, you could be in first place. It's like
the whole thing. You can be in first place the whole time and make one little mistake in lap 3 and end to 6th. That's the only problem.
Exactly. It's Mario Kart. That's why I bring it up, because that's what happens. Someone red shells you at the very last minute, and all of a sudden you're in fifth place. It's the same thing.
Now, since Hit's not, he's muted now, but Hit, because we all, once we hit rank 3, we're getting 320 loots out of the ass. Are you getting any better loot for being rank 5 than you were rank 3?
No, once you hit rank 3, it's all that matters.
All right. So
the drops all stay the same.
Yeah, so Hit put in the extra time to get to rank 5 for really no reason.
I actually tried to get to rank 3, and I've just got to rank 5 by trying to get the 320 loot.
Now, it's over this Tuesday?
It finishes
next week.
Not tomorrow, but a week
this
from tomorrow.
reset.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next reset.
Yeah. So you have a whole nother week, Jay, to get 320 helms and class items out the ass. You can shard them into your other guys and boost their shit.
Oh, it's totally worth doing. Yes. I mean, in terms of the loot, it's totally worth doing, but I have to enjoy what I'm doing or won't do it. That's just
maybe you're just playing with the wrong guys. Were you playing with Hidden? He was like, oh, I owned you, eh?
Oh, I don't play with anybody. I don't like to play with friends.
Well, that's
friends
why.
are terrible. Well, like, Hit is already proven friends are terrible to play with. It's fucking proven. It's been like, it's documented, not worth doing.
No, that's understandable. I've played with Hit before too. Hit used to be part of my very first raid team in Destiny, and then he was like, fuck you, man. I'm going to play with my Canadian bros, eh? Fuck you all. Yeah.
Dude, he's got a streaming career, right? He's got a fucking,
I know.
He's out and about.
I know. He's like, I got to stream on Watchtower Games, eh? Instead of the Tool to Play channel, the serious channel. I got to do this Watchtower Games. It doesn't even make sense, eh? Like, my name's Hitman, but it's Watchtower Games. I don't even
know.
understand.
If you go into Destiny, he's got the Watchtower Gaming fucking clan tag. He's the only one in it.
I know. I know.
There's like a one-man fucking Hitman clan. It's the best. I love
Meanwhile, his clan was supposed to be I6, but then he's like, oh, fuck I6. Now it's Watchtower Games. Like, you can't even read this guy. He's all over the place. He's like a loose cannon. He's like someday when he goes on a murder spree, they're going to be like, do you guys suspect anything? I'm like, well, you know, he was Hitman, but then he was with I6, but then he had this Watchtower Games secret life behind the scenes. He just couldn't commit to Tool to Play. And, you know, it's no wonder he snapped. And then they'll be like, that's right. Well, this is the RCMP. They're going to be like, hey, I understand what you're saying, eh? That guy was crazy, eh? I don't even understand it. And then, you know.
Up at a bell tower. That's where he goes.
Yeah, they're going to find him in a bell tower on the top of some snowy mountain in Canada. And but instead of having a rifle, he's gonna have like a slingshot, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we got him because all he had was a slingshot because it's Canada." And it's gonna be, "You got me, eh?" And that was a weird fucking rat hole that we went down.
That was yeah.
All right. So on that, normally we go to the new releases at this point, but guess what? Only a complete moron would release a brand new game 3 days before Christmas or 4 days before Christmas. That would be imbecilic because you've completely wasted the entire holiday season. You didn't sell any copies of your game. And people that were buying consoles for Christmas were buying the games anywhere between just before Black Friday through maybe even last week. And even the new releases there was none last week, but 2 weeks ago, that was a dumb time to put out new releases.
That was a dumb time, yeah. But none of them are really important games.
Yeah, I guess that's if you have a piece of shit that you're just slinging out there and hoping someone picks it up, or maybe DLC, this is the time. But yeah, there's nothing out this week. So on that, why don't we hop on over into gaming news and we'll head over to Tiff. What's going on with you tonight, Tiff?
Hey guys, I'm just here to make the show better.
Wow.
It's been like she's been on like 6 times total, and already it's like all her. This is great.
Well, it has to be because the show just keeps getting better, and you know I've been here, so it's been getting better.
I through the associative property of betterness.
Yes, exactly.
That's how that works. Show is awesome. plus me, and they said it got better. And since I was there when it got better, then it's me that made it better.
Exactly.
Okay,
Can't argue. Can't
Totally
argue.
logical.
I see the math, and I'll try to calculate it while you're reading the first story.
Okay. All right.
All right, first story.
Microsoft says Xbox One cloud tech available to any game, including PS4 exclusives. And this comes from GameSpot. Microsoft will not keep outside developers from using its Azure cloud-based technology, not even developers of exclusive games for other platforms, Xbox gaming boss Phil Spencer says. Writing on Twitter, a fan asked Spencer about Titanfall 2 and how they would hate to see the franchise lose out on Azure cloud computing and servers. Spencer replied, Azure services are available to any game, even other platforms exclusives. We wouldn't keep someone from using. But Spencer didn't divulge any further details about what arrangement might be in place for Titanfall 2 as it relates to its use of Azure. I know people want me to comment on specific third-party games. I just can't. Sorry, he explained. The original Titanfall's use of cloud servers was a highly touted feature when the game launched on Xbox systems and PC in 2014. Microsoft and developer Respawn said using the technology unlocked a number of benefits for the game AI, which in turn freed up processing power for more detailed graphics. Whether or not the sequel, which is all but confirmed to be a multi-platform game, also uses the cloud tech, and what advancements might be in place as a result, remains to be seen. So what do you guys think about this? Is Microsoft playing nice?
So yeah, this is weird. This has happened in the last maybe not even decade, maybe the last 5 years, where Microsoft has finally realized it's in their best interest to not lock down their platforms. It's like a really weird thing that's now happening. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with the little changing of the guard that happened a few years back. This is great business for them. It's great to get anyone.
It's the business side.
Yeah. It's not like they're being nice. It's nothing to do with being nice. It's nothing. But in the past, they were, in spite of themselves, they would lock down the system. They would do that to feel like you could only be a part of the Microsoft environment if you were all in. But that's no longer a thing. And I think they're finally realizing that collaboration in the world of open source, the world of sharing APIs and technologies, that it is a good move to allow any business to come in and be a part of the Azure network. So it's a great idea. I'm not surprised. And it's only good for games.
It makes, because if Titanfall only has to write one version of the game for Titanfall 2 that says the backend servers are going to be these dynamic Azure cloud servers that let us offload certain AI processing to the backend server that's doing this, well, then the game's better for everyone. And then it's the same across the board. So the development can be then focused on one game instead of on one game and some variants. And Microsoft on the same side is, even if Titanfall 2 was a PlayStation exclusive, they're making money on the back end now for them paying for Azure cloud services. So it's win-win for Microsoft.
Yeah. And it's better for the Xbox platform. Like, you don't want a developer to ever have to make the choice to not use it, because the flip side of that would be they decide, okay, well, we really love your Azure platform, but we're not going to write 2 copies of the game. So we're going to forego that and use more CPU power for our game to get what we want, so that we still only have to write it once.
Yep.
So that hurts them. There's no reason to do that. It hurts them on twofold. One, they get a worse game. It doesn't get that Azure platform growing. And then 2, they lose money, a shit ton of money, because now you're not on the Azure platform like you could have been. So it's kind of a no-brainer. But ironically, I think with Microsoft, it's like they might have not done that in the past.
No, they definitely didn't. Like in the past, they would have cut off their nose to spite their face. They would have been like, "You're in or you're out." And now, yep. I think that with the changing the guard, like you said, like people are like, "Hey, we can do this the right way,
let's make money.
And we'll make money even if we're not getting it one way, we're getting it another." And I think that's really the key here. So I think this is great news.
It's awesome, yeah.
And moving forward, this may scare less companies away from using Azure cloud servers now that they know that they can use stuff in the Azure cloud without having to be a Microsoft exclusive. Because maybe smaller devs were like, oh, we could never do that because that would mean we're beholden to Microsoft and this and that. But now that they know that it's wide open, they're like, well, why don't we investigate this? Maybe that'll make our game better. And if we
it's a trickle down effect, like and once you're in the system, the thing with the Azure cloud is it's literally a cloud computing system. It's not for gaming in any way, shape, or form. It's not for anything. So maybe Sony gets involved. They're like, man, this is really working well for our games. Let's do X on Azure cloud. Let's put this on Azure cloud. Right. So it doesn't stop there. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy for them if in fact it works out well. And from all accounts, a lot of people are now using the cloud. So there's really no reason to say that it wouldn't happen. So it's nice. They tie you into that part of their business. And just like the Microsoft of old, once you're tied into Microsoft, then you are locked in.
Yep.
But it's this easier way to get in. It's not as like buy a license that costs you $40,000 and now you're in and all your support has to come from us and blah, 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 blah. So it's good.
Yeah, I feel like Microsoft made slight inroads into this originally when they finally gave in and put Blu-ray drives in. And they were like, okay, well, you know what? Sony has got this. We're going to pay Sony licensing on Blu-ray drives. There are competitor in consoles, but as far as what's better for our thing, sometimes we have to use the other guy's thing. And it's better for everyone to put your ego aside and to go ahead and use whatever tech is best to make the best game or hardware or whatever you're doing. You can't let your ego get in the way. And I think that's what Microsoft is finally doing here. And
yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. So I think this is fantastic for gaming. All right. Next story.
Coleco looking to bring back cartridge-based gaming with a new console. And this comes from Gamasutra. Video game console manufacturer Coleco, the company behind the short-lived ColecoVision and Telstar systems that hit shelves in the 70s and 80s, is making a comeback. Working in tandem with Retro Video Game Systems, which previously failed to find funding for a VGS-branded system, Coleco is set to release a new cartridge-based console dubbed the Coleco Chameleon. The Chameleon is pitched as a modern-day take on the classic game console and will play brand new 8-bit, 16-bit, and 32-bit games, as well as some classics, both of which will be released on cartridges. The Coleco Chameleon is a love letter to all the classic cartridge-based gaming systems that came before it, and we love the fact that it will succeed Coleco's successful Telstar and ColecoVision product lines. And this came from Retro Video Gaming Systems president Mike Kennedy. It will take gamers and their families back to a simpler time where games were all about great gameplay and fun factor. The Chameleon will launch in early 2016 and will be demonstrated for the first time at next year's Toy Fair in New York from February 13th through the 16th. So what do you guys think? Is this on your list?
This makes me nervous.
Yeah, well, if it's the thing with items like this are like the price point. So like if it's a super cheap item that I can just pick up as a nostalgia-driven, device that I just throw in my living room, I don't care if it's good or bad at that point. Like if it's at a certain price point where I'm like, I only spent $40 on the thing and I used it jokingly for the last month and a half. Okay. If I throw it away or don't use it or give it to a friend or whatever, after that, I think it's paid for itself. I just hope they get that price point right. If it sucks, it sucks. I don't waste a lot of money. I'm hoping it's good because I was a huge Coleco fan as a child. But I don't know that it even needs to be that good.
See, your fear is in a different spot than mine altogether. Like, I don't care if this is a $100 device. It's worth it at $100. But my concern is that the way that people develop games now is the QA that goes into games is not what it was back when they made cartridge-based games. They had 200 QA testers playing these games nonstop over and over and over for months before the game came out, because once it's burned to that ROM, it's done in a cartridge. There's no patching. There's no way to fix your broken game. So if we're going back to cartridge-based gaming, then you have to go to cartridge-based game development, which is you have to put in all of that extra time beforehand to make sure you're not shipping a broken game, because there's no way to patch it. If it's in a cartridge, it's done. And
yeah, so my thoughts on that, though, is it's not going to be a true cartridge. My thoughts of that is it's going to be like an SD card in a cartridge packaging that you plug in that does have an internet connection that you can then use to patch the game. That's what I assume will happen.
Well, if that's the case, then it's not really what they're selling it as, because they're selling it as back in the days when things were easy and it came in a cartridge and there was no patching. And like that's how they're selling this, is that it's not something that's fluid and changing. It's what's in this cart is what you got. And
I don't think it's going to be like it's almost like it's going back to where you're saying like, just to spite yourself, cutting off your own nose. I mean, I think like if they were like the technology is there, an SD card is extremely cheap, as cheap as any cartridge is going to be. let's face it, it doesn't even have to be a very large SD card. It doesn't even need to be a gig. It needs to be like a couple megs, if that. And in that case, like if it was like just a faux cartridge where it's not really a cartridge, it does have the data on there, but it's on an SD card, they could still get away with calling it a cartridge and you plug it in, but they would have like, why would you negate the technology that has occurred in the last, 20 plus years just to get that cartridge feel? It doesn't seem like it'd be that smart and not really in terms of pricing, probably going to make too much of a difference in your components. But maybe you're right. If they do that, you're totally right. Like it would be very hard to do well because we're not used to that anymore.
Yeah, people don't mind shipping broken shit anymore. They're like, it's fucking totally broken, but our gold date is today, and then we ship in 2 weeks. All right, we have 2 weeks to fix all these bugs, but we're gold today. Burn those discs, and that's the current model, and it doesn't work in a model that's non-updatable. So I guess we don't know enough about this behind the scenes, but I love the original ColecoVision. Like when we replaced our 2600 as kids with the ColecoVision, we had that little thing that slid in the front that you put your Atari 2600 cartridges in. We had the ColecoVision cartridge. We're playing, Ghosts and Goblins on the ColecoVision. We were playing all the old Atari carts on the Atari part. We had the ColecoVision controller, which was, for all intents and purposes, a million times better than the Atari stick with the one button. So it's got all the right ingredients. All it has to do to make sure that it survives and succeeds is from the back end, they have to realize that this is not the development that has been going on for the last 15 years, maybe 10 years, ever since carts went out of style.
Right. My only other thing would be, I don't know that people really want new 16-bit, 32-bit games. Like the only other thing I'd say is that, people have showed interest in on the mobile side playing games on a small device, and those are generally of a lower quality. But even then, we've sort of proven that those don't translate well to a screen anymore. That once you're on mobile, they should stay on mobile. The Ouya shit show kind of proved that as well. I think everyone that's going to buy this is buying it for the nostalgia, the old Coleco, and that's
get the name on there.
Yeah, I just don't see people saying like, "Ooh, another 32-bit game." Now, again, cost is going to be the factor. If a game was $1, which it probably will be, $2, $5, whatever, then maybe it'll be okay. But I just don't know that people are like really in a market to want to see more 32, 16-bit, 8-bit games.
Well, I know you and I aren't in that market, but that's the scary thing right now is if you look at gaming in general right now and you look at the releases that come on the Xbox, it's such a small amount of AAA titles now, and the other games that do come out all look stupid fucking 8 and 16 and 32-bit.
Yes, this is very true.
Look, even games like IDARB, which is a great 8-player game on the Xbox, but it looks like something that could have been written 20 years ago. It's not graphically fancy. It looks like shit. And for some reason, people are into this again. And I know there's a lot of retro guys out there in the audience, and you comment every once in a while. There's a reason why that retro is old, and now the new stuff is
why don't people just move on?
Why can't we just forget that? Like, if you want to go play retro, go to an arcade that has a stand-up cab and go play your favorite retro games. But
better yet, go to a barcade, get drunk while you're doing it because you're still an adult and you can remember that. It's okay.
Yeah, just don't bring them to the house. Like, they have no business. Like, something that was on a 4x3 screen that was rounded in the front has no business on your giant widescreen flat screen. It just doesn't. It doesn't.
Agreed.
I don't know. So we'll see what happens in February when they show this off at the Toy Fair, and somebody will pick it up. You know who'll pick it up is Dane Waterborne Tulloch.
Yes, right. I saw this. I was like, okay, I know one guy will buy it, so that's good.
So maybe we'll have Dane as a special guest on after he picks this up, and we'll see what he thinks. But yeah, we certainly will not be picking this up. I don't think. Even nostalgia, well, unless it's cheap enough, and then
that's like I said. If it's like $40, $30. I literally buy it once, throw it in the living room. Someone comes over, they're like, "Hey, Coleco, I love it." Yeah, play a drunken round, if you will. No big deal.
Make it play the old carts, and maybe you have a bigger cell. That's because people are buying that Retron 5 that plays all your old shit.
All the old shit, yeah.
If you make it some cross compatibility, maybe you have a bigger sale. So listen to that, Coleco, or whatever company bought the Coleco name is pretending to be Coleco now, but. Which is probably more like it because I'm pretty sure Coleco went out of business
they've been gone
30 years ago. But yes. All right. Next story.
League of Legends Gravity Gaming bought by former NBA player Rick Fox. And this comes from IGN. It was announced Friday that former professional basketball player Rick Fox is the new owner of North American League of Legends team Gravity Gaming. ESPN reporter Darren Ravel revealed on Twitter that the team will be rebranded as Echo Fox. Earlier this month, the Daily Dot reported that the team sold for $1 million, though the buyer was unknown at the time. Gravity Gaming did not qualify for the 2015 League of Legends World Championship, and since then, much of the team has moved on, leaving Fox to rebuild the team. Though Fox has had no professional involvement in esports in the past, SB Nation noted that the basketball player and actor has shown an interest in the community, calling pro gamers athletes while on The View and chatting about League of Legends with Utah Jazz player Gordon Hayward, who is active in the League of Legends scene. Like Fox, who has won 3 NBA titles with the LA Lakers, Gravity Gaming has had some success in the past. Though the team did not qualify for the championships, it did make the top 6 in League of Legends 2015 spring and summer terms. So what do you guys think of this?
I think this is great. And there's some stuff in here that's not part of the actual story that was written out. But Rick Fox, obviously married to my friend Eliza Dushku. She's a prolific actress in the world, dropping names here. But so when he talked about buying this, he said, people see these trends of things that are coming up, and sometimes people miss out on them because they don't judge the correct weight of what they're going to be in the future. And he sees esports as being huge in the future. And this is the time where for $1 million, that's a fairly inexpensive price point to buy into. Imagine if early on in football, you could buy a football team for $1 million and have a professional football team in the NFL locked into something in your ownership, and then carry that into the future. So he sees this as something big coming in the future, and he's buying in now on the cheap, relatively cheap. $1 million isn't cheap by any means, but compared to what this could be 5-10 years from now, that's an insanely low buy-in for something that has a huge potential return on investment. So I think this is really forward-looking from Rick Fox, and it also goes to reify the value of esports to people that are not traditionally related to this. Now, granted, because he's married to Eliza Dushku, who does gaming voiceover stuff, and she's a VO artist and does all that stuff in gaming, maybe he has a better insight into this than some other people. But having someone that in professional sports realize that this is the next new sport, I think also adds value to esports in general and kind of gives it some credence.
So that was my original thing when I saw this. So my take on this is that it's one of the most important things to happen to esports in North America to date. And for that exact reason, I couldn't have said it really any better myself. It's that it's shining a light that pro athletes, real athletes, not that esports are not real athletes, but in the eyes of everyone else. You got a guy that is an NBA champion saying to everyone else, gaming is the real move here, guys. These are real athletes. People are watching this stuff, and it's only getting bigger. I'm buying in right now. That's really a giant stamp of approval for esports and for what it's going to be potentially. Now, esports can obviously, as time goes on, lose its momentum. Things can shift within how the culture is. It's totally a possibility. But as it sits right now, over the last 10 years, and almost every year that's sort of ticked away, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And not really incrementally. I mean, it started when Derek and I first really started doing Tool to Play. It had that incremental field. We had MLG come out right when we were around with Halo, and you felt like, yeah, maybe this could be a thing. I don't think I ever saw it as like extremely huge during those times, and it slowly got bigger. In fact, Halo actually got a little worse in terms of its draw for a while, and it went down. And it was like, oh, well, maybe people aren't interested in it. But as sort of this Korean and this Asian influence of some of the League of Legends type games and that style coming into America, it's really boosted things like exponentially. Insane amounts of money are being made. So now's the time to buy in. I totally agree. Like, why not $1 million to him? Not a big investment. Could it hit in the next 10 years and be, nationwide, worldwide thing? I'm not totally sure on that. I don't know if the culture's there yet to really bring it to this like national stage. But it's possible. And why not for $1 million? I mean, it really does sort of make it valid to be a part of the gaming community now. It's an awesome piece of validation. If that's the only thing it does, that's an amazing thing to happen.
Yeah. And if you're assuming that we are going to see this continuing growth and return, $1 million is a small buy-in.
It's nothing.
If you look at like I said, pro football, imagine at some point if you could have bought any of the pro football teams for $1 million and what the value of those teams are now.
Yeah.
The return on that investment is better than winning the lottery. It is insane. So
yeah, and I know that I saw this earlier today, and I was kind of watching Twitter. I know a lot of people were, and these are non-gamers, right? Saying like, "This is why are you doing this? This is stupid." Blah 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 blah. And to me, I don't even care. Like, I don't even care about him particularly being the one to do this. I don't even know if it's a sound investment. It could be the worst investment of his life. But to me, the big news story here is really that you got a guy that's really well known internationally as a great athlete, has been in movies. He's known even outside of his own realm of just basketball. He's known pretty much anywhere and everywhere. A lot of people know Rick Fox. Maybe I'm not even a sports guy. I know Rick Fox, right? So to have a guy like this put that stamp on gaming, that could be, even in and of itself, one of the catalysts needed to bring it to the national level. Even if it's a bad choice, just him doing it could be what actually gets more people to invest. So yeah, and it's awesome. It's really
it's like, hey, I'm an athlete. These guys are athletes. These guys that you make fun of, they're also athletes, and it kind of adds credence to that. So I think it's fantastic. And I would like to think that Eliza Dushku had part to do with this, because as smart as I think Rick Fox is, I don't think that he gets to this point without being married to her and having that kind of influence in his life. But
and I was actually just going to bring this up. You just brought it up in chat, but one of the biggest things happening before Fox did this was Cuban starting to show interest in gaming. He showed up at the Intel series. Put down a ton of money just for funsies. Literally went there.
An insane amount of money for funsies. Yeah.
And really there's a lot of talk on Twitter. It was literally a Twitter exchange that got this whole thing to happen. He was just like, "Oh, that sounds like fun. Can I come?" And they're like, "Sure." And after he went, he really saw, and it takes that event. It takes, I think, people going to those events to see how charged the audience really is to want to be a part of it. And now Cuban's involved. Fox knows Cuban. I think this is all a part of that. I think this momentum is happening because you're seeing people with a lot of money, investors that know how to invest in tech. They want to get in on this now. So it's, we could be seeing some stuff moving here. It's good. All good.
Absolutely agree.
Love it.
All right. Next story.
We are on to this week's What the Fuck story. Man sues Bethesda over his Fallout 4 addiction. And this comes from Joystick X and Gadget. There's little doubt that Fallout 4's gameplay is involving when you can spend dozens of hours on the main storyline alone. However, one Russian man is convinced that it's too involving. He says that he's suing Bethesda for 500,000 rubles, which is about $7,030 for failing to warn that Fallout 4 would become so addictive. Supposedly, the man went on a 3-week gaming marathon that cost him his health, job, and wife. Had he known how alluring it was, he says, he would have either waited until the holidays to buy the game or just avoided it entirely. There's a history of these cases, and they can even be successful. One American got compensation from NCSoft after he got hooked on Lineage 2. There's also evidence to suggest that certain kinds of gameplay can promote addictive behavior. With that said, there are many Fallout 4 players who've played extensively without ruining their personal and professional lives. This man will have to convince the court that he was genuinely addicted and not just lacking in self-discipline. So, what do you guys think of this?
I feel like we see these every, 4 or 5 years, right? There's a lawsuit where someone decides that the game is what made them either kill somebody or, steal something or shoot someone or lose their life, stop eating, right, have a heart attack in the middle of a gaming room. Yeah, it's a frivolous lawsuit like any other lawsuit. You're a human being. You know what your limitations are. If you don't take those into account when you play a video game, you're an asshole, right? I hate to completely shut this what the fuck story down in 2 seconds, but seriously.
I know. Everybody's looking for a handout, and sometimes the guy that's like, you know what? I fucked my entire life up. I lost my house, my family, my wife. It's all this game's fault. You know what? I'm going to get something back for this. Fucking Bethesda, you owe me. It's so absurd.
Yeah, it's there's no real point. And when I was reading this, the one thing that I recall about the other story with Lineage, that guy made money. Like that was in court. Someone believed him.
Yep.
That's the most disturbing story here, is that anyone at any point in time can blame a gaming company for being too addictive and then win. That is the scariest thing I can ever think of. You do not go to Las Vegas and gamble your life away and then say, hey, I need my money back because I didn't know that gambling was so addictive, right?
So
like
addictive.
that's
I went, oh my God, after I lost 10 hands of blackjack, I played 100 more to try to get it back. And then I was down 110 hands. So I played 500 more hands and now I owe $1 million.
Yeah, now I'm in a street corner sucking on a dick because I need some more money to play some more slots. You don't get money back for that.
No.
It's over because you're an idiot. You knew it was a bad idea and you continue to do. As soon as you know, like if your health is failing and you're playing Fallout 4 and your wife is telling you, I'm going to leave you if you don't shut this off. She told you the information. You had it. You consumed it in your head and then you made a choice to say, fuck you. I've got to build this settlement and then I'll be done. But you didn't. And that's your fault.
Yeah, I think 20 years from now, lawsuits like this will be a lot less successful because people have grown up on gaming. What people are counting on now is your judges or whoever's making the decisions, your mediators or whoever in the courts are old people. These people are so fucking old. They're like, oh my God, how did we let this poor man get addicted to this game?
There's poison.
This poison ruined his family. It tore him from his family and his kids. Oh my God, we have to penalize Bethesda. No, like once we replace those guys with guys who are like, yeah, I played the shit out of games when I was little, but I didn't fucking fuck everything up. Like, then it becomes different. But right now, you can still like screw over the system by using these ancient and aging lawmen and attorneys and judges in the system that will actually award you a win on this. But yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. Derek, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails. Altius asks, we know that Sony claimed victory over Black Friday sales, but come January when we see the December MPDs, do you think they'll have the same tale? I know I, for one, don't do all of my shopping on Black Friday.
I don't think so. I think Sony's got this. I don't think there's going to be there's nothing to really suggest that there's anything that Microsoft's going to do to create a surge that's going to outpace Sony. All of the times that they've ever outpaced Sony, it's because they've had an amount of money or whatever in terms of lower cost that's pushed sales towards the system, or a Halo or whatever, right? That's been what's given them those boosts. And there's really nothing to suggest that that's going to happen now. So I would say emphatically no. I would feel like I would be surprised if Microsoft did better, which is a shame, but I just don't think it's possible.
I'll give them a 25% just based on the price point.
Yeah, price point is the one motivating factor that can sway public opinion. That's for sure.
If some kid says they want a gaming console, and this goes to play like we just talked about with the old attorneys and everything and judges. This is the old parents that didn't play games. And some kid says that they want the PlayStation, and they go in there and they see the PlayStation and they see the Xbox, and the Xbox is $50 less, and they look and to their eyes they're like, they look the same to me. I'm just gonna get them this one because it's $50 less. Like, I don't know. That's really all you can count on at that point.
Yeah.
But like you said, really, in the grand scheme of things, Xbox should be winning this, but they're not.
They're not. Yeah. We've known this, like history tells us, right? Like whoever ekes out in the beginning generally stays there for the entirety of that cycle.
Yep.
It's that's why I don't really blame Microsoft. I don't think they can do anything right now that would change public opinion. If you go into a Best Buy, and this happens to me as a gamer, if I go into a Best Buy, I don't tell them what system I want the game on. They will tell me PlayStation 4. It's in the public vernacular. It's in the mindset that PlayStation 4 is winning. And because of that, when you go to buy games or talk about games, for people that don't even know games or that are selling games, they attempt to sell you the system that they believe is the one that is on the forefront at that time. And it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once it's set in stone, people say PlayStation 4 is better. I have both. It's not better. I don't even think it's close.
I agree.
That's my opinion, and other people can have a separate one. But that's what I'm saying is you have people that have these systems in their homes. They have played them both. For me, I say Xbox all the way, but that doesn't matter anymore. Like I talk to friends, and what I have to do is talk them out of a PlayStation 4. That's what happens to me now. I have friends that say, hey, I'm looking to finally buy a new system, Jay. Which one should I get? I hear the PlayStation 4 is the best. I'm like, no, get an Xbox. I'm on the Xbox. I'm not going to play with you on your PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 4. I'm not even going to play with you on it because I never play games on it. And they'll say, but everyone said the PS4. Every guy talking says you gotta buy the PS4.
All my Madden buddies say PS4.
Right, yeah. Exactly. I'm a douche. I want to play a douche system. So, sorry about that. So that's the normal conversation. By the way, you are a douche if you have a PS4. Because I'm part douche, so I should know.
I keep lowering my percentage douche. I'm only 20% douche.
If you guys can see it, it's unplugged. There's literally an inch of dust on it. It's right back there. It's not even plugged into the TV.
Jay is 33% douche right now.
Right.
I'm only 20% douche.
Right.
And the more Xboxes I buy, I can keep reducing that down. But yes. I don't know. I wish they could come back, but I don't think that $50 price differential is going to be the thing to do it. And like Jan said in chat, you're gonna need some ultimate exclusive game that's the one system seller, and I don't think they have that yet.
I don't think they have.
It wasn't Gears, it wasn't Halo. Yep.
And that was their chance, and didn't do it for them. So
it is what it is. All right. Well, great comment as always, Altius. And if anyone want to give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment on this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help support Still Got Game. Now, I know we said we're going to record some new copy this week, but I said, fuck it. We'll just save it till the new year and do some brand new copy. So we're going to cut and paste some shit in here, or maybe we won't even. We'll just off the cuff. If you shop at ThinkGeek, which you do because you're like us, you buy shit at ThinkGeek, go to tooltoplay.com/geek before you buy your stuff, and that will help the show. And if you are still Christmas shopping right now, you're looking to get someone a gift and they love beer, and you want to get them a craft beer subscription that gives them a new bunch of beers every month and month after month, well, then that's what the Craft Beer Club's all about. So go to tooltoplay.com/beer and buy them a craft beer subscription. If you're a craft beer person, buy it for yourself. You're going to get some free pint glasses, some other stuff by going through that link. It is the best deal you will get from the Craft Beer Club. So tooltoplay.com/beer. Go there, buy it, and you help the show directly. It really is an awesome way to help the show, and it's an awesome way to help yourself. And if you want to sponsor us, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You tell us what you're selling. When you're telling me to pay us, we'll sell it. You pay us, boom, done! Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/tool-to-play. Everything podcast related is at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the fucking internet, got everything. It's fucking holy at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And you can find me at twitter.com/dude-I-rock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/tool-to-play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/dude-I-rock.
All right. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/tool-to-play. That is the place to find all of Tool to Play's archive video content, whether it's this show, whether it's all of our other shows, Tiff's one-off show, Hit's Hits, which is coming back soon, by the way. New year, Hit is promised. He promised 5 new episodes in the first 3 months of 2016. So those are coming soon. And we are all looking forward to that Hit. We're going to start promoting them on the Twitter and on Facebook. We're going to make sure people know when those quick hits are coming, because the amount of interest in quick hits has been insane. We actually, for those of you who don't know, don't follow the show, we trended #1 worldwide on Twitter when we were trying to bring back Hits Quits. That was hashtag bring back hits, quick hits, or something like that. But yeah, #1 worldwide Twitter trending that night. And Hit felt like that was all it took to bring him back. And that's when he does the crinkle crankle, opens the games, caresses them, licks them a few times, and you get the first play that very first night. So that is coming back in the new year. A whole bunch of them in the first quarter of the year. So Hit is promised, and they are definitely coming. So yeah, go to youtube.com/tool-to-play and subscribe there. You'll be notified when all of this content goes there. Also, please rate and review this podcast in iTunes. We need some 5-star reviews. And if you are so inclined, also give us a nice little review to go with it. And each week we do a featured iTunes review. And it's usually a featured 5-star review. But this week, something bad happened. So a few episodes ago, we talked about our friend Soft Encounter. And Soft Encounter gave us an excellent 5-star review that we were truly happy to get. And we may have commented on the style of writing that went with Soft Encounter's review. And when I went back to iTunes today to pick out a review, one of our more recent reviews was a edited review from Soft Encounter. So Soft Encounter has changed his or her 5-star review to a 1-star review of the show. And the title of the new review was Updated It. And the content of the review was Sentence and a Sentence Fragment, which, if you've listened to the show recently, there was a show that maybe, perhaps, Jay was super mean about.
What? Oh, you piece of shit.
Okay, maybe it was me. Maybe I kind of rode the Sentence and Sentence Fragment thing a little too hard.
It was 35 minutes of our entire show.
Okay, you know what? Soft Encounter, your original review that also contained 5 stars that we could really use again, but your original review was so much more than a sentence and a sentence fragment. It was really a complete and thorough.
You just keep backpedaling. Just keep pedaling backwards. It's good. No, just row that boat. You're good.
No.
You're good. You got this.
You took the show in a complete thought and you put it on a pedestal and you were like, how could I push this a little bit higher? And that's when you took what I called the sentence fragment. Really wasn't a sentence fragment. It was a booster, and you boosted it that extra little bit up to make it even better. So you took something awesome and you made it better with what I called a sentence fragment, but it was a booster. I don't know what I was thinking, but what Soft Encounter did the first time around was really what we need for a review. We need someone to go out there, put it out on Front Street, exactly what they think of the show, and then give it another kick just to push it into the stratosphere. So that's what Soft Encounter once did, and that's what I hope you can do. So we're looking for 5-star reviews and something that says how much you love the show. And I'm sure that Soft Encounter, you know that everything we said that week over that huge amount of time was out of pure love for you and an appreciation for what you did for the show. So much appreciated, and we need those reviews from everyone else. All right. We also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tool2Play. That is the place where Tool to Play's live content comes to you each and every day, almost every night. Live content, with the exception when Hit's doing his like, look at me on my Watchtower Games, it's a fake channel. But when people broadcast on the real Tool to Play channel, that's where you get real content. That's where this show goes live all the time. It's where all of our streaming community, like last night, there was a fight between streamers. Selden was trying to stream on the channel, and we had someone else who maybe was once a guest on Thick and Thin with LB and Duty that maybe once worked for Microsoft that couldn't give anybody any information about an upcoming console release.
That was our raid.
Oh, that was your raid that you were broadcasting?
Our raid, yes.
Oh, okay, yes. He's in your raid group? What are you guys, complete imbeciles?
He's in our raid group.
He's practically a moron. But anyway, I said that on the live stream. I was sitting on the show. I'll give that to you. All right. So I'm glad that was your raid group. Wow, you have a low barrier to entry for your raid group, but that's cool. So yes. So sometimes there's good content on there. Sometimes there's substandard content on there. But either way, there's content on our live stream. It's on there all the time. So definitely tune in twitch.tv/Tool2Play. Definitely follow us there. Or if you're so inclined, subscribe, because that's your best way to get money to us. Because if you were interested in the show, you want to give us a kickback, that is money directly into our pockets that really helps out the show. And before we wrap up, I'm going to remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Tool2Play. And again, that's starting again in the new year. No show next week. Don't get too excited. All right, and on that, Jay, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Duda Rock Albert.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Boom. Done!